So we all know, sir, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is at the United States of America, precisely at the UN General Assembly meeting. But then there are some key takeaways. Mahama aya obia eka wansem, and even the likes of BBC, CNN, everyone has his or her own take about all the issues at air course. But then this is what is really going on. Mahama recently just gave a speech. I think that was yesterday, extremely live crowd, and we told you, said this particular speech no make here, it had a whole lot of packed things. I think the speech was like 30 minutes or so. But then Mahama can send baby. But then now, no, excepts are air trending on social media. No, air kamya kwese. Mahama's speech, no, it was directed towards Trump, not precisely Trump per se, but directed towards people or persons like Donald Trump and also Trump. One more, I just say, on your mo, as the close ally, say Israel. Now, we were watching this particular video when President John Dramani Mahama, I will not say explicitly or inexplicitly, but then he made mention of Donald Trump, his stance on immigration. We all know that Trump came into power. He's very keen on immigration. Mobi and Bani Kronia the but then Mahama is saying, he said, "Enya obi force obi fin the crew tin ye, enya obi force obi fin the crew no one plane, and now one nam fem and now one boat oku be mine so." Because the conditions are not right in the person's country. But then the question someone will ask is that if the conditions are not right in someone's country, now ufa plane akoha. How is that the US problem? It is the problem of leaders, politicians, and our leaders or more Africa has say. Yanko share this particular video, and Mama also said something about reparations. Say slave trade ni trade still America and Europe superiors. It's a whole lot of things. Let's watch this particular video. Babaka, we will continue this particular conversation.
And so when the desert encroaches on our villages and towns and they become unlivable, we are forced to flee. Warsan Shire, a Somali-born prophet, a Somali British poet born in Kenya to Somalian refugee parents, was London's first youth poet laureate. She writes in her poem titled Home. And it says, "You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one bends their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled mean something more than just a journey." Madam President, we cannot normalize cruelty. We cannot normalize hatred. We cannot normalize xenophobia and racism. If we're going to tell a story, let's not tell it slant. Let's tell all the truth. When we speak of migrants, we speak of Mami Ewusi Mensah Frimpong, a judge on the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California. She's the first black female judge on any of California's 4 federal district courts. She was born here in America to immigrant parents from Ghana. We speak of Peter Bosman, a medical doctor in Ghana who moved to the town of Piran in Slovenia in the 1980s and later became the first black mayor of Piran, the first black mayor in Slovenia and in the whole of Eastern Europe. We speak of T. Michael, the iconic Ghanaian Norwegian artist and designer. And of course, we speak of the late Kofi Annan, former United Nations Secretary General. Former United Nations Secretary General and Nobel Peace Prize recipient, who was born in Ghana but spent his adulthood in various places in America and Europe. These are people who have brought great distinction to the countries that they decided to call home. Just as the migrants and the children of migrants before them did, I dare say these are not invaders. These are not criminals. Madam President, the slave
Therefore, that was what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said. Now, this particular speech, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Omeki, it has caused a whole lot of reactions on social media. And some of the videos, if you want to watch the whole excerpt, I think say Edi can stream that particular live. And now you go YouTube now, but Mahama speech UN, Mahama speech UN, that is it. Now, some of the other things so Mahama man for a party this particular ones no directly towards President Donald Trump no how the UN operates. So we have something we call veto. Veto no say okay take a decision. Na baako aka some vetoing it. Na baako no aka some vetoing it no. So mo ye 10 na baako e veto powers, which means baako no aka some vetoing it so mo nyina mo kan yes or no kan no a no. So basically, a party say, oh, to me, and I say, ni same be, and I say, basically a very powerful nation. So on the UN, veto, 5 countries have the veto power, and this particular 5 countries which have the veto power. No, it be a France, okay, it be a US, it be a UK, it be a Canada, it be a China, okay. So these countries almost veto powers. Since you know, say be a court, so it will be asking these countries almost veto powers. No. If you see now, he said, "Yanko left her." US bit marker say, "It's not a more veto power. Need to know. I vetoed it. To veto the decision will not then. The decision will not materialize. Into no, Mahama exercises say, "Add Indiana UN Security Council or more veto powers. They should expand the veto powers, or perhaps they should demolish it." Because at the end of the day, you know, saying in a case you say we will not go to this direction. Now, one other second thing too, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama also said was the denunciation of Cuba blockade. According to President Mahama, he challenged say at the interna US as sanction Cuba. What I say because according to him, Ghanaians are friends with Cubans, but until I say the entire Cuba, which is led by Fidel Castro, in Cuba. Yetimi sanction omosa, what I say, and he stated something. Say, I would like to call for the removal of the blockade on Cuba, as Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said. As Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our nation's father said, we seek to be friends of all and enemies to none. The Cuban people shed their blood on African soil in the fight against apartheid. Indeed, Cuba has been and continues to be a faithful friend of Africa. So, the Trump blocking Cuba, tariffing them, Mahama said they be. And Mahama also did touch on the US denial of visa of the president of Palestinian. Now in himself Palestine, any Gaza for any Israel for more, but Gaza no partly, it houses over 2 million Palestinians. It's Mahama Nibufu said at the interior Palestinian president Oba UN, na US it denied a visa. Now, secondly, too, one of the things we are on say, Adintiana the war equals Gaza and Israel are allowed to undertake or still continue to bomb things. Trump President Mahama said which basically Trump then such a say. The fourth one, by the way, he criticized Mahama immigration policies and called it hypocrisy on refugees. So Mahama is saying he said, "Ebi wo ho a ni kro no asai ati ase na oku obi for the crew so." But then here we are saying say we will not take refugees, especially the US. But then he's saying says see an also person go for about crew. But Ukraine Russia war on there, also people should come. Mahama said a double standard. So that was the fourth one. Now the fifth one, Mahama is demanding reparations for slavery and colonialism. So Mahama party said, and slavery, of course, it has really taken Ghana and also many African countries backwards. So it will be very well in America's interest and also the UK, the British, the France, when colonize to repatriate the countries. In fact, maybe we are good at bring some of the good, pay us back. In fact, compensate us. Mahama made those demands. And now, also demanded for reforms and global financing. Na Mahama Ghana is in a position now. Yeah, share your friend is saying, how you be a bit my boy because yes, you emerging economy. But then see, US as well dominate. Your friend is saying, the global financial architecture, and so far no party say no son, some of my yard as African and come boy. And Mahama also directly challenged Trump his position on climate change. So share President Donald Trump what he said about climate change. President Donald Trump said the climate change now they be a horse. You can say a horse, a propaganda, and no credit. What you say, and because of that, he had an issue with it. So these are some of the things, Mama Kokan, we just played an excerpt of it, and he did show, Obibit said it is a direct thing against and a direct message to President Donald Trump. Regardless, Yanko share what he said again. Babaka, we have an update about Bawumia.
And so when the desert encroaches on our villages and towns and they become unlivable, we are forced to flee. Warns, a Somali-born prophet, a Somali British poet born in Kenya to Somalian refugee parents, was London's first youth poet laureate. She writes in her poem titled Home. And it says, you have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one bends their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled mean something more than just a journey. Madam President, we cannot normalize cruelty. We cannot normalize hatred. We cannot normalize xenophobia and racism. If we're going to tell a story, let's not tell it slant. Let's tell all the truth. When we speak of migrants, we speak of Mami Ewusi Mensah Frimpong, a judge on the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California. She's the first black female judge on any of California's 4 federal district courts. She was born here in America to immigrant parents from Ghana. We speak of Peter Bosman, a medical doctor in Ghana who moved to the town of Piran in Slovenia in the 1980s and later became the first black mayor of Piran, the first black mayor in Slovenia and in the whole of Eastern Europe. We speak of T. Michael, the iconic Ghanaian Norwegian artist and designer. And of course, we speak of the late Kofi Annan, former United Nations Secretary General. Former United Nations Secretary General and Nobel Peace Prize recipient, who was born in Ghana but spent his adulthood in various places in America and Europe. These are people who have brought great distinction to the countries that they decided to call home. Just as the migrants and the children of migrants before them did, I dare say these are not invaders. These are not criminals. Madam President, the slave
So that was what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ekaye. Now straight up court because we have an update about Dr. Bawumia. Currently, Dr. Bawumia is moving around. He's doing a tour in the eastern region of Ghana. And last time we saw, some people actually came out to endorse Dr. Bawumia, most of the MPs. But and now I know can say no Bawumia some of the other to the some people may have lied on Bawumia. It is here we be doing the I was say Bawumia be in one. A deben pa and of course in video eba baka to us.
Me kantre Nana Akufo-Addo na ye wo meeting mo enye me no nkwa me ne no nkrofo bi ele ye meeting ena ye di nkomo ye say we e wo ho boku wo ho ye say we Muslim and we nyina na ye di nkomo e hwe reasons are ena me kantre Nana Akufo-Addo say papa me de ye nhwemu a okwe report ye eba ena omukase Dr. Bawumia uye kramoni nti anase mampusi kusa sinti na ye ulusi abano medie me be step it down me nkopio sana me kantre me papa Nana Akufo-Addo me ka say because me pese me mfamiami interest ahead of the party's interest must always be ahead of me. Say, because of the party, I will sacrifice any ambition if me kwa yebelusi. But Okwe report nebaye, Ashanti report nebaye, Conrad Adenauer Foundation report nearby. Nina by the same conclusion. Religion, tribe was not a factor in the 2024 election. Before Okwe report nearby.
Boko kusase mamprusi sensem ene ohene na okowura honomu a enipa bi edomu nsa etre Dr. Bawumia so se ono ene yes onko no onim ho hwe enkomo amadi ewo party no onim ho hwe but enipa bi deliberately ashere de ahye ne kon me chance crash me say no our eastern region I think in Sewom or Suhum Ejna campaign platforms or Kasa or Kasa we are quoting us no and now Obi on the platform prompting to say now what to say or any revenue or any Jana Manako Dru Boko and Dr. Bawumia didn't even believe it. So how can that happen? Border checks are a walk Ekwanu so nyina no otimi cross no nyina ma national security for na before police for obi as well hu no say Dr. Bawumia mpo na ma ye ja no a okwere mu nim say okwa bibi besi e basa basa e beba he was able to go through everything ekoduru hono and no there I can say on authority say Dr. Bawumia ni mu he but sometimes he has to speak. Oh, you know, baby, no. And yes, I never said no concern. Kusasi, Mambrusi, one inside some Namia Kolusu election. The religion of the camp. Say, Numpa. A Hong Kwani Antwaba. If that is the case, again, this is stronghold of voter, you know, and give a massive voter turnout. And also, no one army on about. And so we should be real with the issues. We should be honest. We should speak through to power. There were barren no obarene. Baba Monsa party no. Amon fa trone kontompone bosremoka. Ubewie no.
Kwani e wuse pacha.
Na wa na wo se epo a wo bo no. Wo sa akosane. Na fe wunu kwa fa so bo. Na ne sanya ya wodi.
Ai.
Bibi boni a mo churechuro go no. Mo na mbesa akenkan o.
Na meka no.
Enti ma mo ntwero ma amanfo ankenkan bi amamo. Mo nya ni ntena, mo huni sai. Ebusiafo.
I say especially the youth of this party. Share and at the war yen no. Ankoya dia ye to abani wi a. Ubenu. Na fem pani na wudi na chi akoka obi ho asem kogo bi woni sia. Omuhia na wuntumi nko ho.
So I don't know who this message is directed to, but then definitely though, it has to do with Bawumia here point to say maybe a chiboki chief no ne sasha se enoma yeja no, and some people are spreading this kind of message to Bawumia oni mushe. And even far from that, you know, Bawumia also says, sir, this whole Michael K report about because MPP for Lucy, you know, the margin that they lost was so huge, so they had to investigate what really went wrong. But unfortunately, some of us knew what was coming to happen. But they set up Michael K, a kind of onye investigation now to me from brand new what really caused the report. So this is why I got a bit I'm very worried. Therefore, say me lose election as a party. Near see a investigation. Now one candidate to lead the party ni kwa no. Waba outside because me investigation na ye me. And I must say me cause defeat. I me fi party di mo me jai. What are you implying to say? So clearly, you to say, you're just sounding an alarm. Say, even if you want now cause defeat now, it shouldn't be presented as so. And up to now, Michael Cohen reports no eshen to me. Yintimi be so. Meanwhile, Bawumia party say Michael Cohen reports nearby no. Say religion did not play a factor in the loss, which personally I think is true. People don't see Bawumia because they're Muslim. People see him because he's incompetent. A fact. Baumia is incompetent. I've spoke to 1,000 people. Obia say Baumia ain't competent. Unfortunately, Ochantro. So what I say. But then, if that is the case, how come say wono can Japan say onya Michael Kwe reports no? But unkwa de also nya Michael Kwe reports no. A debe ne wom. What is there? But Baumia de betu just say reports ne ba ne boni din say on course ya on the obefi party ni mu. Reports ne so ba ya boni din. So is this a quid pro quo and I say a psychological game a psychological game strategy say okay say me ko nti no sa ndie nka say these are questions, but regardless Baumia pa is onim hwehwe yenhwe video e babaka we are going straight to the camp of the UN because me no ka so kudu ta black ne ho abasem or US sia be ne ho ayeden abasem. Once again yenhwe Baumia video yi of insema odia tudwa. Okay, I'm see Baumia video then you're available of some others. Okay, so if Baumia's video is not available, that is fine. So therefore, that is exactly what is really going on in regards to Dr. Baumia in Sema or the two justices here. So let us know what you think in the comment section. And Sana Yebeko in Sem for Fro eso. So reports are back currently party say Okudu Black, who happened to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Apparently, now it was say UN National Convention muku, and it was say the minority the minority in Parliament almost select be. But according to one person or to your party say he was selected to be part of the people, but then last minute Okudu Black wa eyinifim because Okudu Black wa say wa kan ho nsem bone radio so TV so. And then also or party say Mahama beko no omusu omufa nkofo bibiri enko, but then o share Western Regional a friend say organizer or US. In fact, almost all the cabinet to do now US. And the question is, cost cutting mechanism, how is it? Now, video channel detailed exactly what is really going on according to this particular MP or party say what really happened to him was a sabotage, and it was all because someone's ego was bruised. Whose ego was bruised here? According to what we are learning, Samuel Okudu to Ablakwa. Now, Enkuti on Rankasanin Sem or the Tuja. When we come back, we will continue this particular update because we have a lot of things in stock IT for I was say you can't want some.
On the 18th, my ticket was sent to me, and I was called that my DSA or PDM is also ready, so I should pick it. Then I informed the clerk that so on the 18th. My ticket was sent to me, and I was called that my DSA or PDM is also ready, so I should pick it. Then I informed the clerk that I am a bit busy, so I'll pick the DSA when we get to the airport. So we are.
You pick what
the PDM.
Sorry. Oh, the PDM. Okay.
Sorry, forgive me. I'm using DSA because when I mean in the African Union we call it DSA. Okay. So forgive me, PDM. Right. So I'll pick the PDM at the airport. So in fact, I dressed, packed my things, left the house early in the morning around 5, got to the airport. So it was myself, Honorable Okuvanda-Poy, and the clerk. So the clerk was in front, I was in the middle, Okuvanda-Poy was behind us. And airport, they knew we were all MPs, so they were giving all of us some preferential treatment. So they sent us to a very separate counter to be taken care of. So the clerk, the lady checked in. And when we are traveling, we go together. We do everything together. We don't leave each other. So the lady checked in, and then she was waiting for me to check in, for the rest of us to check in. So they were trying mine. It was delaying. They were trying mine. It was delaying. Then she asked me, do I have another passport? I said, oh, I have 2 of them. This is the diplomatic. This is the normal one. And I have the visa in my ordinary passport. They took that one too. They checked. Then the lady said, oh, Honorable, your ticket has been withdrawn as at yesterday night. How? So the clerk was worried, the chairman was worried. They started placing calls. They called the ministry, they called, I don't know who they were calling and all that. Finally, the clerk sent a message, forwarded the message that had been sent to her from the PA of the minister, Nana, to me, and copied chairman. And the message was that the minister has directed that only the 2 of them should be taken care of, not me. So I thanked them and then handed
At that
over
11th hour.
at the counter with my bag. My driver has already gone because I've moved in. So I just returned the DSA, the per diem, thanked them, and went back home. So, but you see, I don't know why, but on the 18th, when the ticket was bought, I was in Côte d'Ivoire, following up per minorities instruction on the Binyeri issue. So we finished, in fact, we went to Côte d'Ivoire 4 days ahead. So we finished everything, and then I put out my report, I think on the 19th. So the following week, that was what happened. So, I don't know whether it has something to do with the Binyeri issue or subsequent. I've been reading some things, but, well, if you ask me, this is what happened. This is what transpired.
I see. So, it must have been on Tuesday, I believe, and if I'm wrong, please remind me. I think it must have been on Tuesday or so. The deputy chair for your committee, which is Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Dapla, the MP for Jirapa. So the matter came up, and I think it was him and the Botiano English amount from MP. That's Sylvester Tete. And so Sylvester raised it, and Dapla's explanation at the time was that the Foreign Affairs Ministries, the Foreign Affairs Ministry does not have. It's not, so basically it's some sort of a privilege.
So according to this particular minister, no patches, MP, no patches, that is exactly what is really going on. So could you try black and a withdraw? Now I wanted to take a critical look at what is on the screen. This is a comment if he said Obama Pokwase. Oh, see, he is the Western Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC. He is in New York with United Nations General Assembly theme. His name, surprisingly, is not on Felix Ofosu Kwachi's list. So people are saying, here is a double standard. A sitting MP or also a corner, withdraw, and a minister withdraw for reasons we don't know. We don't know the reasons. Best nuna the bufua or kasa. Near the idea to say on no issue. And also they brought out one thing too. Shahase, or say the NDC communication or the NDC government is too dishonest. I didn't tell no mokasa. Or say the Minister of Communication brought out a list of people who will be embarking on the trip to USA with President Mahama. Beatrice Annan, who is a presidential staffer, did not have her name on. This guy, who is the Western Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC, also appeared there strangely. So they are saying, even though almost some of the list are back, list, no, it is not so. Osha, there are people or more at the end of the day, they were not supposed to be on the list. So, with many sentiments, no, or see who to tell Black, I withdrew my ticket as the minority rep for the parliamentary delegation who were attending the UN General National Assembly in New York when we got to the airport. Honorable Asafu Eji Aye. So, you could see people are really pissed off, especially the New Patriotic Party for no. I personally don't think, or I don't subscribe to this nonsense, you withdraw a sitting MPs a year because you have grievances with that particular sitting MP. And the foolishness of all of this, and at the height of foolishness of all of this is so simple, it is when you take party members instead of taking a minority MP. So sad. My name is Abia. MP no do metia playing about we don't know. But then there are many reactions. People are saying this Samuel Kuduta Black guy, he's lied so much. Or see President a target for resigning or can simply on resigning what G position contain or see uncle Anne Obeka say Igbini said was so position and yasem ketwa. So that is exactly what is really going on. But then there are many reactions MP before B Ashasia or Mokasa. They are talking about this issue and they want this whole thing to be investigated because come on. The irony of it, and yet DBN and MP before NDC for better power. So who you say now the question is, what precedent are you setting for the next administration who will come after you? Go video about better us.
Or truffle or chain sa papi and primping were by mono sa or truffle no e be Canada. Mon madia a black white. Entokwa asi ojo Mahama kurom ho. Enunti amanfu Ghana fo edwane akokɔ d'Ivoire. Okujatu ablakwa etu anamon kɔ ho. Ema ye report says some of the refugees in Asa Ghana asa na enye nokre no. Yura, a ranking member for the Foreign Affairs in Parliament. Yura Asafo Ajay, honorable member of Parliament. And so echo background check to confirm say ne a black kind a no crown anya no cre. A honum na refugees no the odi onim kind no katre no say. Asem na black kind anya no cre na Ghana ni bie no Africa Cote d'Ivoire Ghana as being reported by Ablakwa na Ablakwa chatro. Na se omo besa Ghana ha biumu a just say John Mahama ene yena na gonja hene ama womo anohoba sa afedi ombetuma babra boni bia anto ma ansa na ho Ghana nyesa de omo Ghana biu enam say yewura asafo jei eko okwa expose Ablakwa tikesienti abusuafo Ablakwa atimi agina etumi so I withdraw Yura asafo jei plane tickets na oka Ablakwa ho ne afufro NDC4 afufro amama travel ko New York for the UN General Assembly na abusuafo mempese me kasa hye papa na no muntie asem anane to Yura asafo jei ewo airport wo de mo amuntie.
So on the 18th, my ticket was sent to me, and I was called that my DSA or PDM is also ready, so I should pick it. Then I informed the clerk that, I am a bit busy, so I'll pick the DSA when we get to the airport. So we are.
You pick what
the PDM.
Oh, the PDM. Okay.
Sorry, forgive me. I'm using DSA because when I mean in the African Union we call it DSA.
Okay.
So forgive me, PDM.
Right.
I'll pick the PDM at the airport. So, in fact, I dressed, packed my things, left the house early in the morning around 5, got to the airport. So it was myself, Honorable Okuvanda Poi, and the clerk. So the clerk was in front, I was in the middle, Okuvanda Poi was behind us. And airport, they knew we were all MPs, so they were giving all of us some preferential treatment. So they sent us to a very separate counter to be taken care of. So the clerk, the lady checked in. And when we are traveling, we go together.
So as here for Yedi kind of video data, so you could see that many MPP people are not really happy with the state of affairs currently. Now, Ohine Kwame Frimpong MPR the picture any video was screen no so no. Now near the update be bro say or the said dey control John Dramani Mahama him say ebeyanka farmers omo ni crew no omo ye farmers tomato saba but then omo nyo bi obeto quickly no Prez Mahama na Mahama etis asem ne pe na wa direct all schooling feeding teachers and as all schooling feeding caterers within the proximity say omo koto yes, I pay the for tomatoes. Akoso. But for and then no casino, we are seeing a first hand of the effect of Mahama's action. Nima be akoso. It for yenko see what Ijodifo Nankasa Eka and how according to them, no, Mahama has really changed everything within a span of some few days, some few months when he came to power.
Jene wa nyina ke ebi na wosu na ye toni na. Okay, Frimpong, my name is MC Honorable Saramu Akwa ni jina hayi na enche bebre e na ye mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ete ekuyafo wa Asante Achim North problems and less than 6 hours and odin kraba say or toje ni nyina any tomatoes ni na o mampani ayade na mo ensema no udi pakro udi unto sika ni mu a na de sika ile ama we cash and carry 24-hour economy mamcho mo amuniama wa no mo wan yi o mo maji musika o me mamcho mo wan mo maji musika wan biem ni eto ni toast bi osumi ewe pacho Be assuming a remember. So,
a good deal.
1,008, one and Isika, one and in toast.
Mammy, I got
Mammy, oh, my penny, and I'm on prena.
A bona John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency President of Ghana, say, you know, Jumadi in the Kosono. Jane was Santia Chimena or Tony Nadia Quacoma School for no. In toast in this or Tony na.
Again, the name of 4. I'm not empty, who Jane. And also a boy. And of course, who came and Penny. And I'm Mampedi Sanatia. Or Baba Sagena, Mampedi. And the petting for you now, so that was massive.
Let's say 72 bags now.
72 bags.
72 bags, but we have 500 Ghana cedis. But they ask and judge him no for this moment there, a privilege mind because any idea and a genie no. You know, be a auto. If you go pro, na tinsu, na bola, na waboka. Tafre de papa de yeshana ke yu.
50 cities to 100 cities no much chamae. Yeah, the bar 50 cities, 100 cities. Above it yabo no 300 cities.
Mama baba. Mama baba.
Remember Mahama Basso, so I had well with me MPP. I've been Nipa Dosai. I say, and historical day, didn't see that. Sir, I have one to see it in the door. Now, pull on a phone to be gone. I came with them. Janet Mabuna, Puro, whatever to Mabuna, Puro, and another day, the Kanya, Manya Dosion. I'm a near who will be our go. So,
Yet to the swabber, now was something at home near Jimmy.
So that is in Sema a carefree or moody 2 judges say you could see what exactly is there. But then regardless, of course, so no be so Edin Simbia Babe Tuja Omoda Mahama say for what he's done. You could see Mammy Numus.
When you come from Paul Beman and Yamin Shaupa, and Saka Utoman to night in Bray and make from Rebecca like as any day in the Saka. Magic, if you know so your mom will be back in Nadia from Barbet in a very short time. That's Yamin Shaya, that's what you drive. I hear that's the Rebecca in we kissing. Why? That's the Barben and Yamin Shau. I said that was Yamin Shau. I've been somewhere. I can't walk. I can't walk. Prez Mahama, baby, baby.
Amen.
Asante achieve for Yamin. Nana mi po, I'm the one why. You're from the Lali. You are from college. Kitchen, and I was not here. It's our idea. Yamin Shrano. Yamin Shrano, baby. You see, can you friend already? Amen.
Amen.
So that is it. You could see say careful mini ajepa. But for those of you who are in some way in the cover by I think we have the video of when Ohene Kwame Frimpong happened to be Asante Achem North MP or sending out a plea or video of Mahama Chose Mahama should come to his aid, and truly to President Mahama came to his aid. Now we want you to take a critical look at the video and how just one call from an MP and a transcendia abua nkofo bebre yenhwe video we ye babaka ye beto aso
John Dramani Mahama madam Roma mesra mi ko mi koto dem why ye bebre dia mame why ye bebre dia ma Asante Achem North enei ye pese wo ye bibi ma Asante Achem North ekoso kaiwo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama humi mobo the MP for Asante Achem North Ohene Kwame Frimpong meni mekuafo yi abusiafo high Asante Achem North baby e gina sisi ye agogo na ye hwe intosu fefefe kuafo ejina hai a harvest ya na chere say Asante Achem North ye obibi enche bebre na great minister honorable Erikopoku one ne deputy miaminua honorable John Dumelo eba Asante Achem North be share bo so mbeboa yen ampa enso na no honorable Erikopoku omo mame fertilizer 1000 bags ama be che bia makuafo ye hwe nto so mde aba that case wo nyina ye 500 Ghana cedis 5 million enso almost struggle so mubenya atokwa momato and inti me fa kwenya kese so na mabo atofo a mu kumase ne nkran se momfa mo ani nkire Asante Achem North agogo ento se fe adaka nyina ye 500 Ghana cedis as a member of parliament se kuafo ye adwuma we nyina na se difficult sɛ ɔmo betumi atɔfo betumi atɔ a me da mi ntumi na ɛni ntumi srɛ mo mummra mɛyɛ mmoa na asante akyem no akuafoɔ so ɔmo mfa ɔmo ntoma pɛfira ɔmo abɔ mo homɔden hwɛ adwuma ɛfɛ ntere ɔmo ayɛ so ade hu ne sɛ yɛbɛnya adwuma ama mmabunu na yɛ nti ka we ba yɛ ya atɔfoɔ ɛho ayɛ den a ɔmo ntumi metɔ yi nanka yɛ we na nanka ɛba yɛ factory ama mmabunu dɔme mmabunu agogo mmabunu asante akyem no ɔfo mmabunu anya adwuma yɛ sɛne yɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛtumi adane wei nti tomato puree ama yɛtumi export ɛde yɛtumi atɔn bi Ghana hama akuafoɔ no so anya musika ntentem nti mefa akwanya kɛseɛ so na me de asrɛ His Excellency John Dramani Mahama madawro ma mesrɛ mi komi koto dwem ɔyɛ bebree de ama me ɔyɛ bebree de ama asante akyem north ɛnɛ yi yɛpɛ sɛ woyɛ biribi ma asante akyem north ɛkɔ so kaiwo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama humi mɔbɔ the MP for asante akyem north ɔhene Kwame Frimpong meni me akuafoɔ yi ne mfa akwanya kɛseɛ yi so ne yɛtumi nya tomato factory ɛwɔ asante akyem north Your Excellency mi komi koto dwem ɛsrɛ wo das
ntosi no adaka wie no 5 million yɛsrɛ mo a yɛsɛ hia atɔfoɔ nso madawro ma ɛda mo ase.
So that is exactly what really went on. Utimi who said the issue of what will happen. Say ekuafo omo maye dem omo nobaya aso. Also omo ton tomatoes. We nim say tomatoes say bana wenti man ton quicker asay. Unfortunately, no, not only me at for. Meanwhile, Ghana ye school feeding. So Mahama share no say this is a small issue. We anya dear cry was say ye china baby crack can one step. I was say you see a conscience. I know to know say school feeding or not school feeding so ye nya eduane krama sebio brand biano ye pe one more be deliver eduane ama ye cry na eyeden. If that is the case, then what will really happen and what really needs to happen is that I was say school feeding for a so that was it. And today you can see the ripple effect. There was one man Okasaya or party say or your MPP ni pa or your MPP ni, but what Mahama is doing who be that I say who be that the whole life. So it tells you clearly how this whole issue is and even how Mahama is actually doing a very, very, very great job on that particular scale. So on your screens is the former president and the former first lady. These are people, according to the New Patriotic People Party, according to National Democratic Congress, and also Team Uro, said they are under investigation. Now we'll be coming to that particular one later. But I mean, we can see one particular person and now the New Patriotic Party one, and then what's in the Lanchemanti. Now Lanchemanti is spokesperson, I find Solomon, so he's really making waves on social media and even on various TV stations. So apart to say, there is substantial evidence enough to prosecute a former president Akufo-Addo. Not just that, but also Bawumia. Or Pacha says, see, they were all in the party. They know some of the deals and some of the things that went on. But and then MPP NDC for abano ye pesi tent na near mano so na ye ne katasumi muaso. Our party said it. If Team Ora really wants to arrest Akufo-Addo and na mino casino, it's just a one-time thing. Once, because the evidence is loud, is big, and once again is sufficient. Share this particular submission of a pay edituja. When we come out, we will continue with this particular updates.
Yankai MPP4. So as we speak, more 87 seats in Parliament. 4 regions, only MPs. 5 regions, or more 1 MPs each. Yakani 2 and 3. A party Ghana for a boo form. That's the first thing. Now Ghana for before because of Chrono on the boy. In a group of people are led by Ore Akufo-Addo. Say ye before manager Pabye go man where you can go to hell. And for 8 years, Omobesi Saumani Moja Padini, na Muya ye from Anna Ghana for the commune libre. A cotoa by a day, 8 years. And untino, baby, I want to say be a mistake. Be that Matisse now no more back. You see a Ghana for from coffee corona and as a memo full time and wolfie. Mudia Ghana for waffy. And it also motias, yes, sir. Ghana Police Service. Yeah. What is all my recruitment for Frana?
Police dada na.
And yet the 8 years police, yeah. In fact, you know, MPP administration are appointing as a deputy IGP. Near TV da okromo.
Yeah, near TV da.
And one IGP. And you
no corona.
The same police service. Now police council no headed by Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia in the last 8 years. Almost the police management board no directions. Omuna hasa ni oma ekoyi ana oma hye police no come ana oma jaho no oma dia mai na oba only 8 months ya wo say you are being intimidated it mean just ana wasa ye bold say yensuro to be demonstration say dia wo de wunsuro ai and to crowd here why like the demonstration dia ya kura wo mu say endra demonstration as endra chi no na post for more than 200 ebo mo ban police for now mo say omu no omu understand eje omu baba ya tata de omu call Jubilee police headquarters no mu do police headquarters say omu muwa de ba kokra the way manner they were speaking now I don't blame them escafo amantem omo be wi omo anisika ana mo from honorable kwasuafo we no mo from honorable obi a one more brother winning the time of free school or buy ya oberu politics wonya the whole time now friend on what is honorable about such people who dey mon kan kire me ma na say mu use time so keke obi a free school about more bra by virtue so support to Tescom anayi ana onya godfather bi of politics no ana oba e ni ko dua adwuma bi ano ana sika me no mie no to a ye tua wo no adi ne nsa bom ana ode aye ne ho yi joko a no ayi 10 cedi ama 20 cedi ama wo so ya ade are you okay people something must be wrong somewhere to my bold akọ demonstration say ade ya chi abronye Ghana politics o say jaye abronye now abronye is a yardstick in Ghana's politics tabe na abronye ka se mi betwe ni sakraba man obi a wotena also wakoti de bibi station me mbokra na my dignify no na ya na ngofo bi no ma send bi abram se mo hede we fa software me I don't agree with a lot of the things that are so funny in their various places because and then morality IGP will threaten the threat a crime
a criminal offense
to say a chewa na ye young govwa or no anyway so more opposition we need to be Thomas sorry they want a place of we have converge na omo achicho more ti abronyentino ye call demonstration either than that abra omo che hanan choma go demonstration
David
che apalu got the demonstration
David
won't you know got enough from Tom among some selective
che obi omumba
say o about me side ye choa ombeba woni ni side dia ye choa onye de umma no mani nwasem said that mu ba be campaign ya kire se mu ba betu ketasehye na ye che omo a ketasehye de proye ne kankan ebo omo no mu ye demonstration je e be na Ghana for right there afamo serious sika na warm and I agree with the Yoko Street in this one. I dear back for the Bojo Mama and administration. So war any say omuntu prosecute to a confor. Mobile munya investigation be a MPP for the woman be a mono who say you minus swan information. How can the Attorney General convince me city yes a 1 hour catch as a 548 national service? Echo every day be a who say be back home. Tibi so we gadinka o court eba na wa amend rate no we dey eba no
na amend
but no more court and so no me no ka say give to worry wakwa kwaji position kwa GF ana me boa Mustafa Yusuf or dash left right center or no crowd here beyond the national service no okay all African games sika pudi a branch here no so Ghana
no adoko no ne emu
enti on what basis na nkofogu nsawo
bone
esan say oni kamafo wonye politician to no dey offer 1,000 cedis offer bank ne yi no yakochina to what you wiaye no e wo chance on you enjoy what sort of animal farm are we country are we building 4 legs bad 2 legs good need I know why I don't blame them esan say start omo abai no so wo so no mo ehunu aban we omo kasa bi e bo mo so kasa tantan fun sa ma emre ye ninkase o power is transient yen so e ba I don't know what much chum. The walker san no cohen gratim, no ho boa, Mengas will be near Bonia Cochino, but we would your way a bonnet at Taromo, down moko the Moses, we have crom for pa, as I can say, yes, slow, yes, now we should be the crow is the leadership one. Let the state be weak and all of us will be weak.
Yeah.
Police no normal. As I say, on person we understand, only a fee. Over the traffic and unless you book ever, no more status. Now, must say a convoy and a manche. Because that time, no, I buy the pressure of Beba Brian also. That time, and near Baby Monsemu policies said, you might buy 1 year, when near Tia never 10 heat also. No, most of them ever care near 10 heat was a great fee.
Prosecution.
Whoever is advising this attorney general, he's doing himself, this country, and his very own party the greatest disservice. Esan say, buffer stock power Pudua, Kofuya Beka say, I now do Tamale, I'll be able to Hana Nedai. Young man, no more brother. Go ahead, Tamale. Who dear? We are more from Cameroon call. Was see a brosano na BMW series no the mam yenu kokwa open secret in Tamale.
Yeah.
Mustafa Hamid oba MBA afena kala na toso. Most 280 million. And Matisa Branch be called the Chief Justice ye the free mami say him prosecuting yes say the bem 337,000 into a more million some trade. What to me, I say, assassin. Now, one word to me, you bold, and now the Musa Poyando. One no, your chief wouldn't do what the Chroma walk on your pay. And they will know, and I thought, as soon as Galam said to me. And I know could sure I feel who say, was sound so bo. You see, some go for engine also after one way, Diboneno. Thought you say, Muja, one more Galam says. Ever say ye operation your friends a Vanguard expedition kabebra ye hu no and omo ne nam konyaku waterworks but wouldn't say a sense as so a hu susu so ne dana na ehunu nsuo no the effect of your actions in the last 8 years no and the cause wa manifest as we jano hwe professor from Pop watch report edi be no wa mo ye bokwa kuba ko ye bo ye friend is ye bo Charles Bisu ye bo ni tekotego ana no boy was so we do them work out as a young man who crowd no dey me ma side o just here ye bo obi look Professor Febo but be two chama no pay say no wa say one for the report mra and try the report beautiful say that Omon Penocre no. Prof the official or canocre catcher say John will know the greatest danger to our forest. Or can win na. Or the choir na Kufuado. Adia Kufuado, Alistair Matias or Nene connection, Eddie good, every month we are almost $40 to $60 million worth gold. To no connection man a worship gold or better wakoche, one way you connect gold no way. Kufuado the gold mining company way. And you got say on your wound me and to the extent say want to be the forest in 2018 and ma say go to magudie omoji sa forest ne ma ye no na sa time ye ni LI 2462 because LI 2462 no about 2022 omo so dia ma omo nko for se no ana omo de LI ne ba se ne be legalize sa nyamra se ni pobone se be wo ya ye nyina ye bonsuo kura tra na ye me research bibi se ye just to wo offend ni nsuo no modi e Akufuado papa pani a ke ye hwewo a ye nya ye nkura nse no wodi kwaye no ama se ye nse no na ye yare a wo so ye mfa nkɔ hye wan what's your information against cabinet member? And the Sankofu nyina ya we say e wo sank ye chichi wo mu nyina gum ana mo ba mo za mo chichi tie san ye demonstration kwa nye fa hu and share police service because omo elements of police service them omo information say munye say and be there e be boa now esan so mu ni nipa ne tidie na no mbe ye omo call circle go catch trotro drivers mate for no and the kaya phone say mate for you catch say mono a shina motion in tampino ye pese e boam ni legalize and the call other boys no no mo ko gen tampe bottle be 30 no mo de ma boys one who say boys no pili lo mu nyina shi wo mo sisa na girls no so de kaya for catch us ye be pe bia matena timuni akire ko emiti ana obidi nkofo yi edu ana mo pe MPP kales ma wom ana mo di akire no mo shi either than that a dear pa MPP has more than 200,000 core supporters my register say omo delegates e mo dodo say na ya cho mo judge police hu no dodo say Ghana for the club bu afu aban na oteso they have no business but you see a party and now your mama be catch us omuniska so to come on be catch us omuniska and you know as far as the kwa presidential you know be 4.6 million then omuniska the organize a demonstration party need here no but individuals na ba bem omo say tam yeah, to me, call me for DVL. Acquire what free should not back or tam sika bottle, pounds, dollars. Near your penny will chroma, no part of some for the scab and go crafting in a for bonesso. One day, former DVL boss, you know, or Marcos Westica, dear Boba. Amo, not yet, yard across the Scalani banking sector. And some pass here, political, a biso, I underground basis, Anna, a show. Be ma a currency. There has to be currency data. A bit flomanka, a biasu, woman here, or when you current in every room, or on the Acoso moon pass. No moon quiet day. And a young yo mushy. Not to say, we are can, I dear Baqua the NDC bar bemono, a yeketa send the pro any galamsey. And no answer that you maybe two. Was there a kufuado bar bemono, what the galamsey and a buy? All right, there. Behind the media coalition they fighting galamsey in 2016 ano kodi eche so ba obeko eno na gidigidi e ma Ghana for kodi eche dem e ma na buy 2017 oba no share adanko da do obe set up sa the committee say or ban the presidency here there to so send nya na ya za enti di omo ye ne de e ya ban yi na ama na ho kwan ana one more expect to say be prosecuted. I say Akufo-Addo call Bantama. No, say because I was a banner say he investigate even on the matter of the National Cathedral. So what to be started say what share David Ajay there was no official contract between Ghana by any David Ajay. No munko National Procurement Authority and J your friends approval. Na papa started trying to no or ya west by now kaya hauling but sorry na mo jije so say function be okwa na change as the one that's your president e gua de be dadwe no okwa so be o mampani okruba da etu meshima kuma pass if this is our president behavior then o might not say get that autopilot na dia pa no wo de ka dia
So it's here for that is the issue on ground that you can see exactly what we are talking about here. Now, you've been moving on to another issue, right here in this particular country. What you see on the screens from Ghana 4 or more New York. So recently, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, currently crowd as New York, it is a United Nations General Assembly, no Mahama. But then, contrary to what will have happened under the former president, some will be met with protesters near the Adenon. This time around, people are coming out to meet and greet Mahama, cheer him up, and also applaud him. Now, the latest to join in this particular whole thing, Ghana for concerned citizens, and they are saying, see, Omukra no MPP 4 pa do na MPP 4 and it be so independent any NDC 4 but then the Mahama ni juma wa ya na say particular thing wa ya Ghana 4 in the diaspora many age pa the team oral and unfortunately they are thinking to them no they believe that team oral no dia ebeboa Ghana yipa so they came out in their numbers and as you can see them holding their placards. I say thank you His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and they were thanking Mahama for bringing team oral and also urging him say in some na air question, all of these things are air question. Kofo me di boneni adi no. Mahama should be vigilant and shouldn't spare any of them. Ye be jai voice no ama share what really went on. Ye babaka ye bet trust because definitely we have a lot of things to talk about.
He's the hope for better Ghana. Mahama is the hope. He's the hope. He's the hope for better Ghana.
Sorry.
So that is it. As you can see, the placard says it all, and they are saying Mahama is the hope for better Ghana. Now, regardless, no, Mahama can say among Fubimuka say Mahama is the hope for better Ghana. No, some Ghanaians diaspora also believes that Mahama is the worst person for a year Ghana. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of Nsema, the undisputed lawyer Morris Ampao or the Ababe to just here all parties say, you know, Mahama is seizing all the 4 pillars in this country, from the judiciary to the executive to the banking sector to the security. Mahama is seizing, is silly. Why? Because you see, NDC for Nankasa, they have a history of what we call autocracy. Atias, into Sha. Mahama na no okujina African Summit ewo Accra and oka so Ibrahim Traore for budget so because oye ejuma. So Mahama kind of to certain people and certain scholars, no, he gravitates towards people just omoye thinking or nipa Rollins era type of thing. And now one person also all echo such sentiment lawyer Morris Ampao. Yenko tin some of their tuja, and I don't know if BNI or Iyoko eba be friend because at the point in time for the tuja say the nkrofo cry the judicial sector among 4 parties Mahama no munim de oye Ghana ka mo Monko Jina US in Bonteson Casa Mahama is the hope.
President Mahama only 2 over 10. And the 2 then only a 2 year. Say what to me aye state capture. 2 no aye no president in the history of this republic. I to me capture the state's power. To capture executive. I remove down pare the to take capture the police. The police. We remove ambe empele for or the call for abeto bangbin eshena ne botom into who say and abamagbin kasa 2020 you could see how the baby the vibrant and I'm the third command the then the judiciary has also been captured. Currently, as we speak right now, no, every judge under this government is shaking. I've spoken to about more than 10 judges.
Yeah, personal engagement with them.
I'm a friend. We will go there. We will go to the removal. Yeah. That is where I will give you a lot of stories. I'm a personal friend to judges. Nobody in Ghana, and I want you to be on record, for 24 years as a lawyer. Minim judge be a Ghana ha minim no na sha say any be fee and the strength and weaknesses everybody from the Supreme Court judges in they were most of where my colleagues are minimum practice here because With us 24 years as at the bar, no, I'm all more than qualified to be a Supreme Court judge. And some of my classmates are minimum class, no, and then a bit more Supreme Court. And most of the Supreme Court judges, no, some of them are my personal body friends. We share secret, we share confidential matters, and then also most of the judges now, you who Supreme Court, no, I practice with them at Kuku Affairs. I know them. We can talk about Jesse Tanko, who I know very well. Balfour Bonnie and Enimi Yeboah, I know them very well. And through Kumasi, through when they say Mami when I be when they say Georgia Hotel.
Until Georgia Nakusi.
And I'm influenced so that they got appointed to the bench. I know all. So there's no judge in Ghana. Lampa in him. Until we'll get there to the judiciary.
Until you could see, say, Lawyer Morris Ampa air patch say big evidence be air back, and the evidence that is coming is so simple. Or patch say at the end of the day, no, obe expose niema, obe chenko for say niema air koso, because our patch says state capture be air koso. And according to him, this particular state capture, no, Sanamdi Kankaya, no, Mahama is silly baby. We don't know what Mahama wants to do. So if I saw running for a third term or a fifth term, we don't know. But Lawyer Morris Ampa is making some damning allegations here. I just say, but regardless, no, your team pa, share the air course, and share the air course. We are watching with our eyes to see what is really going on in regards with Mahama, any accusations, and most NP before must start at the bono. So that is exactly what is really going on. Therefore, you moving on to our last update now. EDC has say Okuduta Black Wako making a speech at the United Nations and people are applauding him. Now, Okuduta Black was part of the delegates of Mukoya on His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ekoye. He had a chance to also give a speech. Inkutin someone or the two Jayaba Ebetwaso.
I now have the honor to give the floor to His Excellency Samuel Okudzeto Ablakawa, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ghana. The floor is yours, sir.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, today we gather to renew our commitment to a world without nuclear weapons. We in Ghana believe that that world is not an utopian dream. It is possible to achieve. And I am delighted that I am from a country where our nation's founder, the Osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, led the charge against a world that proliferates nuclear weapons. In 1962, Osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah convened the World Without a Bomb Conference in Accra, and he championed a continent that will be declared a nuclear-free continent. And I am glad that the continent of Africa, as we speak, the only country that had nuclear weapons, has fully disarmed. And if Africa can be a continent without nuclear weapons, other continents can follow the example of Africa. So this is a quest that is attainable, and we all must renew our efforts in this direction. 80 years since the dawn of the atomic age, the observance of this International Day for the total elimination of nuclear weapons is a reminder that where the compass of global caution is broken and the enduring pledge of never again is overlooked, the horrors of the past would not remain in the past, it will creep upon us into our present reality. While the NPT remains the cornerstone of our disarmament architecture, each failed review conference chips away at the fragile trust on which the treaty rests. The credibility of the treaty on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons is being undermined by the lack of its full implementation, especially of the disarmament undertakings from the 1995, 2000, and 2010 review conferences. On this occasion, therefore, I remind nuclear weapon states of the obligation to pursue disarmament and call upon all of us to prevent nuclear proliferation and promote the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Ghana demands an end to impunity. The situation where some nuclear powers determine that they can keep theirs, but others cannot have it, is untenable and must not be allowed to continue. While other disarmament instruments such as the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons reinforce the shared objective of nuclear elimination, their promise is weakened when compliance lacks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to note that this is a historic day for Ghana, because today Ghana will be depositing our instrument of ratification following the signing of the TPNW in 2017 and the full ratification of our parliament in July this year. In concluding, let me do so with the voice of those who witnessed the first use of atomic bombs. Their window of time may be closing and their pain voices hashing out, but their voices still carry the urgency and moral clarity we need today to galvanize us to fulfill our shared promise, not in some distant future, but with concrete action now. Thank you very much.
So that is in Sema Ayokuju to Ablakwa Edutudra. So in aid of all of these things, and in some way, question one other news so Abekayensa, Basintili, a DNA question Basintili, Abrabum. Basintili has done something that will be a purchase is a good thing, because as you can see on the screens, Basintili, also the Youth Employment Agency, which CEO near Malik Basintili, he's joined Ghana Prison Service to officially pass out the first batch of prison assistant trainees under YEE. 5,000 recruited 5,000 recruitment program at Ankafo Maximum Security Prison in the Central Region. So these people are not say unemployment. The Ghana Prison Service Assistant Service, and I say I train almost a prison service assistance. Malik Basintili and son. Now we have some of the excerpts of what really happened. Malik Basintili or storming the ground. So you could see these people are very much happy, and I think this guy is doing something right. It is something that is very powerful, because these are youth, okay? But until he buy, meet man can say or employment in Kwan Kobo must be 50,000. He's done so well because these are people they could have ended up on the street. The women or the ladies could have got pregnant. They be who your life or my life be mu edi omo. Unse se na wo fia uni ejuma ya boni bi etimi frefre no ane obi timi frɛ se ko jame na nipa ku wi ade na akoka nipa na na be count. But these people are off the streets. I think say a very good thing. For Malik Basintele is doing something right and something good, as you can see on the screens. He has prison assistant, trainee, almost 5,000. They are saying some more will join. Yankupon Insha Malik Basintele. For the BCA, we will come your way once again around 9:30. With, as you know, the arrest and also the scandal of course CCA in pennyphobia within the new patriotic party almost CCA no omba bekasa Sami Uku. We will come to Sami Uku somewhere from 9:30 or 10 p.m. Yeah, that was say. Thank you so much for watching.